For generations, family have called Sunnyside home. It's a neighborhood built on pride, perseverance, and community, a place where stories are passed down like family heirlooms. Sunnyside, one of Houston's oldest historically black neighborhoods, stands at a crossroads. Today, we take a closer look at Sunnyside, and I sat down with Gilbert Onoko, resident and developer of Sunnyside.
For those who don't know, my name is Gilbert Okoronkwo. I am the founder of Grace Building Company, who's a local construction company. We have a niche in developing 1 to 4 door residential units. We started with our development efforts in Houston, Texas in 2016. Our focus was to go into specific gentrifying areas, namely Sunnyside and South Park.
With a population of around 20,000 residents, Sunnyside has seen steady decline over the past few decades. Policies that encourage affordable housing, support local families, and attract new residents are key to stabilizing and growing Sunnyside's population.
My wife and I thought it'd be a great idea to start development. That came about because, while we were still dating, we would drive around the area because she's legacy here. She's 3 generations from the Sunnyside area. And so we would just notice how there were a lot of oversized lots with no development on it. And then we thought the idea, well, why can't we do a development project? One of the differences with our company is that we went in targeting specific homeowners, and then we helped them by also providing them a turnkey rental. What that means is that, we built it from the ground up. Through our management company, we were able to find tenants, lease it up, and then get it to folks where they walked into rented units. We're proud to say of everyone that we sold a home, owner occupied duplex to in this area, everyone but one person still owns it to this day. And that's something that we really believe in. We understand that real estate ownership is a great way to achieve wealth and a great way to get your momentum started in investing. And so that's the key. I always like to stress to people that it's ownership over time.
Once a bustling community, economic hardship, disinvestment, and population loss have left their mark. The challenge is clear: reversing population decline while retaining long-term residents.
You really need to be sensitive about what the community and what your neighbors feel, right? So we engage all of our neighbors, especially those in close proximity to us. We engage them, we form relationships with them. We try to work with them so we don't disrupt their normal day-to-day life. We make sure our crews are out of here before it gets too late and not making noise too early. And then also from the community perspective, we have a nonprofit called the Manuel's Village Builder. My family and I, we started that in 2015, along with some college friends as well. And how we engaged is that we were basically giving scholarship and grant money to local HISD kids. Not only did we do that, we also gave them some actual corporate America experience. We brought them in for some summer internships. Some of those kids are grown now and own their own houses. They're like 23, 24, 25. Our first group of folks that, got those scholarships and grants. But we always try to maintain a face in the community. We let people know who we are, right? We never hide or run from our identity and who we are. We speak to people about our mission and we share the different things that we've been able to accomplish.
Sunnyside was once a thriving hub for black-owned businesses, but today unemployment stands higher than the city average and many storefronts sit empty. But hope is not lost. Projects like Sunnyside Solar Farm, the largest urban solar project in the nation, are bringing new opportunities. By supporting local entrepreneurship, investing in workforce training, and promoting small business development, we can build an economy that works for Sunnyside residents.
So some of the biggest challenges I face, I can talk to that early on. After the Great Recession of 2008, a lot of lending entities, they didn't want to touch this area. So obviously, when we first started building here, no one was really lending on new construction projects. So getting the capital to build, that was a huge project because we're not some rich or well-to-do family. My wife and I, we come from modest backgrounds and modest means. So finding the capital and getting the relationships with bankers and lenders, that was one of the toughest challenges earlier on. But then you kind of get over that and you overcome that as these lenders, the banking community, they see your work as viable and you kind of establish a footprint and establish proof of concept that it works.
Housing affordability remains a challenge. Nearly 40% of renters are cost burdened, paying more than 30% of their income on housing. Aging infrastructure and a lack of new affordable units make it difficult for families to stay and grow. The comprehensive plan calls for mixed income housing developments, incentives for home repairs, and zoning updates to encourage infill development. With these strategies, Sunnyside can preserve its historic homes while creating new affordable options for future generations. The plan envisions bold investments, uplifting Black owned businesses, building bridges between local schools and new job opportunities, and transforming key corridors into thriving centers of commerce and community so that prosperity isn't just promised, it's created right here in Sunnyside.
Well, my personal vision, I think you kind of see it manifesting itself. You see more people of the Black and brown community coming in an ownership position, right? I think that's so critical. One of my good friends, he always speaks to it. It's great, don't get me wrong, to be a realtor or a broker or to be on the side of a transaction and get a commission. But so much of what we need to do also has to represent us being the principals and the owners in this community as well. Because trust me when I say this, we know what this community looked like prior to all of the interest in it, right? My wife is legacy here. I mentioned that already. She grew up here as a young girl. Her father grew up here as a young boy. Her grandmother grew up here as a young woman as well, raising a family. So it's just to continue to promote ownership, continue to provide housing opportunities for people from the community as well. Because one of the things we're also proud about is we were providing normally occurring affordable housing for people before a lot of people even knew what that term was, right? We housed people that were from the community in rentals. I'm glad to also say we sold some duplexes back in the day to people that actually grew up and were raised here in Sunnyside too. So, you know, when you talk about Grace Building Company and the legacy we have, make no mistake about it, we were very intentional about what we were doing and like who we were assisting and what this community would come to look like.
Today, much of Sunnyside's land is made up of residential neighborhoods woven together by streets that carry the stories of generations. But just beyond those homes, industrial zones border key areas, bringing noise, population, and barriers that separate families from opportunity. The future land plan paints a new picture. It involves more than just building the streets. It envisions hope built into every corner. The plan calls for creating a new green spaces, places where kids can play safely, where neighborhoods can gather, where health and nature thrive side by side. It imagines vibrant commercial hubs that bring local shops, cafes, and services closer to home, making Sunnyside not just a place to live, but a place to work, connect, and grow. Revitalized corridors will stitch the neighborhood together, linking residents to jobs, schools, transit, and recreation. By rezoning underused industrial land, encouraging transit-oriented development, and fostering walkable, people-centered commercial districts, Sunnyside can transform into a community that feels more connected, more vibrant, and more sustainable without losing the roots that make it unique. And looking ahead, the long-term vision is bold. New zoning overlays to guide future growth, mixed-use corridors that blend homes, shops, and services, and thoughtful infrastructure investment that uplift the entire community. Sunnyside's future is being shaped today by the choices we make and the commitment to a neighborhood where every family has the chance to flourish.
Absolutely, there's some mixed-use development coming. I've been in communication with a guy that's actually starting some of that development, and then also a guy I went to college with. He works for a commercial development firm out of the DFW area, and they've already started to look into this area for some of that. I think you're going to see a lot of that come. And it's a sensitive topic around here too. Even in this area, there's a lot of HISD owned land here where schools have already been closed and they've been shut down for some time. So there's a lot of rumor and speculation about what HISD is ultimately going to do with that land space, because it's pretty significant land space, especially here in Sunnyside Gardens that HISD owns or in proximity to it. So you're going to definitely see commercial come to the area. And that's why I always try to tell people, hey, you want to get in here before everyone knows about it, and that day is coming pretty soon.